Hello everyone, today I'm going to do a video on something that tends to be overlooked, especially for people that are just starting with 1/12 scale racing. Or there might be a few seasoned racers that might not have paid attention to this so much, especially running the team associated front arms. And this is the lower arm and how the pivot ball sits inside the lower arm, like so. This hole here, depending on the manufacturer, the tolerances might be perfect, might be spot on, or it might be too tight. And if the ball is too tight in the lower arm, which I have experienced, what will happen is when the suspension compresses, the tire will toe in like so. And I never really noticed this at all when I've been racing Zeon front arms, but when I switched over to the team associated arms, I just thought, oh well, the molding must be the same, the tolerances should be fine. And I never really paid much attention to it. And what was happening is I was getting this exact motion like so under compression, which is not good whatsoever. You don't want to have that bump toe in, I guess you would call it. And when the suspension compresses, it's important to, if we can take a look here, it's important to have that ball smooth and operating freely in that lower arm, because as the suspension compresses here, one second here, you'll see that the ball actually moves as the suspension goes up and down. And what was happening with my suspension is the lower ball wasn't doing that, and so what was happening is I was getting strange handling problems. Now, this is obviously a rookie mistake on my half because I should have checked that beforehand. Now, I was lucky enough to have the Team Bomber owner take a look at my car, and first thing he looked at was the lower suspension balls, and he's like, Edward, dameyo, koretto, which means not good, your front suspension is broken, it's not functioning properly. And I'm like, oh, what did I do? What did I do? And it was just simply that the material within the associated arms was, poorly done. The molding isn't the greatest, like what you get with a Zeon. But he simply said, it's okay, I have this ball and reamer, which we'll go ahead and just remount the material, the excess material, like so. And it was a quick fix. All he did was he popped out the ball first, and then he just simply took this reamer and he just simply removed any material that might have caused the ball to bind up within the lower arm. And this particular tool here is by a company called Topline, and it's a 5.8 millimeter. Now, this 5.8 millimeter works with the associated balls, but you might have a different brand of lower suspension arm that might require a different diameter ball. So you'll have to check to see which one works for you. But it's really important. I was at fault for not checking, and the great thing is now I know, and I hope you guys now know that you got to make sure that these lower pivot balls are moving freely, both upper and lower, and everything together as a unit should work freely. Your upper hinge pin should be smooth, no binding. The upper ball should be bind free. The king pin should be bind free, and the lower ball should be bind free. And you should also check to make sure that your links aren't binding up so much either. Just you want to make sure everything's working smooth and operating without any problems. So yes, please make sure that the lower balls are bind free, and you'll have no problems with your suspension whatsoever. And like I said, to check if you're having issues with the lower suspension ball, you just simply or the suspension itself, just simply press it down. If it's towing it at all under compression, then there might be an issue with the pivot balls binding somewhere. Okay, there might be binding somewhere in that front suspension system. Okay, I hope this was of assistance to you guys. If you have any questions or comments, just please leave one below. Okay, bye-bye.